Namato Ratana Tayasa. May I pay homage to Triple Zem, the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. My respect goes to my parents and my teachers. Hello, good evening, everyone. So today is Friday, the 4th of December 2020, and this is Achan Sujan from Varapunya Meditation Center, Aberdeen, Scotland. As usual, I'm here with you all tonight. We have a very cold day with lots of snow in the morning and rain throughout the day. I hope that you're all keeping well in this cold weather, so proper winter is coming. Now, despite of that, there are good news about the vaccine, the corona vaccine, and which is again giving hope for lots of people. Although some of us will get very late or possibly middle of next year, but at least there is a hope of some form of survival. So good news. It's a very good news that it's there. Normally, a vaccine takes significant time to develop. Sometimes may take 5-10 years, but due to the advance of new medical technologies, it's within about 10 months, the vaccine is out there. And how much it will affect and how much it won't, it's a time will tell us. So again, hello Ankash. Now again, today I will be explaining from what I left yesterday. On the basis of so-called gradual teachings that I've started talking from the dana kata, the benefit of giving a dana, and then a sila kata, and the benefit of practice of morality, and then 2 nights I was talking about the sagga kata, or the stories about the heavens. And yesterday I did mention that, as being in a worldly living or worldlings, we engage with this sensual pleasure. We want to see good things, we want to hear nice things, and we would like to have a comfortable life and comfortable family livings, and a good house, good cars, and like that. And this is all simply how people will take it as a happiness in their lives. And this is obviously, again, the household's happiness depends on the wealth that a person have. So on the basis of that, first stories about the dana kata, or the generosity, is talking about that the more you give, the happier you becomes. In the meantime, you have a less greedy mind, and there is a sense of more sharing and a caring nature there. And there isn't a sense of accumulation with the greed, excessively greedy. And that is again, the concept of dana there is basically giving comfort in a new life, next life, that whatever you have given will be returned to you in the next life. It's called a bhoga sampatti, wealth, the prosperity of the wealth. And this is again is another form of giving some hope to the householder's life, that yes, you have to have the wealth, yes, you have to have a prosperity, but the meantime, make sure that you haven't got much attachment on it. In the meantime, just to give. So the more you give, the more you get. In the meantime, you haven't got this stingy mind that you become selfish. And that's how it is interpreted, that you have to learn to give. And that giving starts from giving to a person that you really respect. And gradually you will be able to give to even beggars and some other people. And whatever you have given with a good intention and a motivation, then the result is basically in return what you have given will be returned to you too. And there are so many stories that sometimes they gave only a glass of water with a good intention to help someone, again has become reborn in the heavens. And sometimes again just the giving a dana, or the offering of only one of the food offering to the venerable monks have also again reborn in the heavens, like that. So there's a significant amount of stories out there giving us hope, and that's hope is basically to satisfy and also that we can comprehend in our understanding, and that is, as a householder, as a worldling, we want to have a good car, good house, good wealth and good income, and that is basically saying that it's based on our generous act a generous act that we have performed. Further on, then again, practice of a sila is again, you don't have to give any materials as such, but you are content, avoiding anything that shouldn't be doing, and being mindful of the things that you are doing, whether to speak or whether physically doing, will bring a lot of comfort life. And the first result that is given is that you will be reborn in the heavens. And then not only reborn in the heavens, but also all the material gains that you also will attain. And that's said, the bhoga sampati. Further on, it also helps you to eliminate some of the defilements that are causing you a problem. And this problem you can overcome, and also you can understand it if you have a good practice of a sila. From my understanding and my practice shows that if we are good at practicing a sila, then your mind becomes much calmer and much resistance to any other things that makes you feel down or angry. And it's easier to be patient, patient to the things, whether to the emotions or the weather, and even to the pains. When we are practicing meditation, whether monks or the lay devotees, during the practice of a meditation, doesn't matter how difficult it is or doesn't matter how painful that is, but that pain and difficulties that we experience during the time of the meditation is basically, it's leading towards the ending of suffering. Whereas if you are not practicing meditation, and you are having a suffering, a different kinds of a sufferings, and which obviously as being a humans we do have to face with the sufferings, then that doesn't lead to end of the suffering but expansion of that suffering more and more. And this you can see from how good you are at the practice of the precepts, and you will be able to get more benefit out of it. And the being a generous and practice of the morality or living an ethical life, if you are not attaining the liberation, the next destination would be attainment or reborn in the heavens. And that is for sure. I used to challenge people that I don't know that you're praying. This is I mean, when I was in Thailand, we established this called a small gathering every month. It's called Thai Nepalese group, and every month, we started every month. Nepalese born Burmese. Nepalese Gurkha soldiers during the Second World War serving to the UK, England, and went to Burma, and then when the Second World War ended, they settled there. And then after their settlement, as for the economical migration, they moved to Thailand. So they are like a Nepalese, Burmese, Thai, so living in Thailand. So this group, and they didn't have any place to gather, so that's why we set up this gathering place in one of the temples, and every once in a month. And during this gatherings, I always challenge to my Nepalese, Burmese devotees, those who came to the gatherings, that obviously being a Nepalese, we have the tradition of paying respect to the different deities, and that's based on the Hinduism. And then I used to challenge them that I don't know that when you are paying respect to all these deities will take you to the heavens or not, but I can confirm that if you've been practicing the sila and then being a generous, then you will be reborn in heaven for sure. So that was a challenge, and everybody had a laugh, and just thinking that if possible, someone who practices and goes on, they probably will reborn. And that was just at the time about over 15 years ago. But quite surprising that this group has grown up and even bought a place and have branches around in Thailand, simply to have this space for Nepalese, Burmese people to come and do the meritorious deeds every month. Some of them have given up the practice of Hinduism, and some of them are still practicing. My last year visit was first time after many years going to see this group, and it was so nice to see how much they have grown up, and expanded this organization, but continued these meetings, and it's nice to see that. And only couple of them were familiar to me. The majority were all new. So that reminds me, I'm getting old. Old monk. So that's about the heavens. In a Buddhist term, that heavens is a place or somewhere that one can attain with a good good action. As I mentioned on the 2 days ago about the concept of the heavens, that some say that this is just a psychological space, and others say that there is a concept of a heaven and a hell. But when we look at the teachings of the Buddha, and particularly on this gradual teachings, if we focus, we look at it, we realize, we can understand that the concept of a heaven is real, and Buddha talked about it a lot. And if there is no heavens or above the humans, then all this concept of noblehood will be flowed, and the realization of noblehoods like a Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami states would be flowed too. So that's why, on the basis of that, these places exist. And someone, once they have done something good or bad, they will have to reborn in one of the realms. And then if someone has done good, they will reborn in a Sugati, which means the heavens. And obviously, heaven is defined as a place of a comfort and a place of luxury. And this is again basically, giving someone who is fully attached on the material things, saying that there is more better than what you have now. And this reminds me the Venerable Nanda, Buddha's step brother. When he was thinking about his wife, a worldly wife, so beautiful, always longing for his wife, and then having seen that, the Buddha took him to the heavens and show him how beautiful beings out there. And then Buddha told him that if you want to get these beautiful ladies in the heavens, you have to meditate. And so when he come down and he meditated, and hoping that he will reborn in the heavens so that he will get the beautiful ladies and a beautiful house and a luxurious life. Somehow when he was meditating, and the news just leaked that this Nanda is meditating to reborn in the heavens so that he can marry with the beautiful deities, Apsaras, in the heavens. So with that, the Nanda was so ashamed and shy, and then he just gave up this concept of a reborn in the heavens and marrying these beautiful ladies. So later on he became an Arahat with that letting go. So we all, like human beings, always attached to the prosperity, and we judge our prosperity based on the wealth, and how much luxurious life are we living. So Buddha is simply giving this concept of a better than what you are now is in the heavens. So you are encouraging to get a more better place than what you have now. And then after he had said that, the fourth one is quite a scary one, and he is saying that all what these material and these entertainment and these luxurious life that you're expecting is basically bringing you more suffering. It's a delusional. It's not what you think is the permanent. It's delusional. And that's why you have to learn to let go of it, or simply overcome from that sensual pleasure, the pleasure or the luxurious life that you expect. Because there is no satisfaction on that. The more you get, the more you want. Now there is other similes given that someone give you someone give you the story. Let me remember the story. The story is that a person whose hand is wish fulfilling hand, and whatever this hand touches, and that transform things to be a gold. And then he give someone that, okay, which one you want to change into gold, and then he said, no, I don't want any. And then this so-called deity, feel even more impressed with that, how so letting go of this person, he hasn't got any attachment on material things. And then this deity said, okay, I will make this whole mountain a gold, pure gold for you. And then he said, no, I don't want that. And then further on he said, okay, the whole land, I will transform it into gold for you. And said, no, I don't want that. And then the deity asked, then what do you want? And he said, oh, I want your hand that transform everything into the gold. So he didn't want to have a golden mount. He didn't want to have a golden land, but he wanted to have the hand of a god himself. So that much greedy human beings are. So never satisfied with that. So that's why with this we always have a problem. We always have suffering, never-ending suffering. And that's why the fourth gradual teaching that the Buddha gave to the householders is called adinava. Means letting go of this sensual pleasure. There is not such thing that it will satisfy you. There's always unsatisfactory there. So the best way is to let go of it. And when you let go, you feel free. And there are so many stories about it, even like a recent, and even here nowadays there is one monk, and he became a monk, and his father, top 10 multi-millionaire in Malaysia, and he became a monk. And when he was asked about being a monk is happier or going back to the worldly life, living in a luxurious, in a billionaire life, and he said being a monk is a more happier than billionaire. So that is one, he's still a monk. And similarly, I remember there was one Indonesian family, and who was very wealthy, and he has only one son, and he wanted to become a monk for temporarily, and their parents agreed and allowed him to become a temporarily monk. But after he became a monk, he stayed for many years. And when he was asked, what would you like to be, whether between a monk and back to the householder and enjoy this luxurious life and all the business, take over all the businesses? And he said, oh, I am happy with being a monk. So that's letting go of that. And with that, you don't have this burden of it. And then there are stories that all the families always wanted their children to be a doctor or lawyers or scientists and a good businessman, so that they can get more wealth and established in the community well, like that. That's the material gain. And there are stories that after that some pressure from the parents, they simply thought that this is not what they want, and they gave up this householder's life and become a monk. And they say that they are so happier than before. And then initially they'll become a monk for temporarily, but they stayed for over many months, years. I've seen, like there was a monk from Australia, and he became a monk only for 3 months. Now he has lived as a monk for about 25 years. Like that. So this simply letting go of this pleasure gives more pleasure and more happiness, and that is more long lasting. Less burden, less fighting, less competition, less lying, less conflict with the other business competitor or the government or so many things. So you have free. you have nothing, but you have gained everything by letting go of this worldly sensual pleasures. So that was the fourth teachings that Buddha gave on this gradual teachings process. So there's another one which I will cover tomorrow. That is the giving up, becoming a monk, properly becoming a monk. That's the last one. And then after he has given these 5 teachings, then the Buddha introduced the Four Noble Truths, which is the direct path to the liberation. So I will come back to that. Stay tuning in and continue listening. If you can't listen live, then you can go on listening on YouTube too. Okay? So thank you everyone for listening, and I wish you all the best. And in a few moments time we're going to have a chanting and guided meditation. So you're most welcome to join with us. Until then, good night and thank you. See you shortly. Satu.